Bull riding is one of the most dangerous 8 seconds in any sport. Of all rodeo sports, it is also the most popular. You see, although the world of PBR is rough, dangerous, and brutal, there are rules guiding the sport. Rules that ease the danger and bring entertainment to the fans. Rules that turned a cowboy sport into a mainstream media sport. What are these rules? And do they make it less dangerous as it seems? Unlike other sports, bull riding had a brutal beginning. It was a form of bull riding where riders would ride the bull to its death. These evolved into a scenario where riders were only allowed to ride a bull until it was tired and stopped bucking. All these happened in the 16th century. It took over 200 years before bull riding had standardized rules. This was in 1936, after the popularity of bull riding exhibitions became more and more popular. It started with the creation of the first bull riding association called Cowboys Turtle Association. With this organization came popularity to not only bullfighting but all rodeo sports. But bull riders wanted more, and renaming the organization wouldn't do. Finally, in 1992, 20 bull riders decided they wanted to break away from the traditional rodeo scene and created an independent organization with their own rules. In a hotel in Scottsdale, Aris, each rider contributed $1,000 to starting up the infamous Professional Bull Rider Incorporated. So what makes up the PBR? The professional bull riders allow people to compete individually or as a team. A team consists of 5 players all working towards one goal, scoring the highest points. Though riders get individual points that count towards their standing in the event. Teams are allowed a minimum of 5 riders and 2 extra riders that can be substituted later. Coaches have a freedom of choosing who starts off for the team and who comes in as a substitute. The competition the teams compete in is called an event, with different events taking place each season. A PBR season has 12 events, ending in a championship that is held at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. While there are many teams competing in the PBR, there are 12 professional teams who have booked the slots available at the 2024 season. Traditionally, PBR championships were competed for by 10 founding teams: Texas Rattlers, Nashville Stampede, Missouri Thunder, Kansas City Outlaws, Florida Freedom, Carolina Cowboys, Austin Gamblers, and the Arizona Ridge Riders. But this year, the Oklahoma Wildcats and New York Mavericks joined after the league created space for an expansion. These 12 are the ones who will compete in the 2024 PBR Camping World Team Series Championship that will take place from October 18th to 20th, with Casio Diaz, the current champion, belonging to the Kansas City Outlaws. But what is the major rule that all these teams must follow in order to win each event? One of the good attributes about PBR is that it isn't as sophisticated as other sports, and neither does it come with the rules as voluminous as a dictionary. But this doesn't mean the sport allows riders to do whatever they wish as long as they ride the bulls. Far from it. One rule that sticks harder than glue to the mind of each cowboy is the 8-second rule. The 8-second rule is the most important rule of the game, as it also doubles as where everything begins to count for a rider. The rule states that a rider must stay atop a bull for at least 8 seconds without falling off or getting any foul before they get points. This might seem easy enough until you remember that bulls are selected for how angry they can be about being ridden. Besides, haven't you seen how standing in front of a bull gets it worked up? Now imagine how angry it is when you sit on it. Maybe you're thinking, what happens should a rider be unable to remain on the bull for 8 seconds? Well, the rider scores no points. And should they have done anything that would have gotten them extra points before the 8 seconds is finished, is also forfeited. But sitting on a bull and expecting that 8 seconds would pass without being toppled is near impossible. An ingenious idea was to make the rider sit on the bull with a strap. The strap, called a flank strap, is used by riders to keep as much balance as they can manage. It would have been easier holding onto a bull with a strap in hand. I mean, think of it, even terrible riders can stay on horses. To make it harder, riders are strapped to their bulls using only one hand. So aside from the 8-second rule, how does the scoring system in the rodeo work? The scoring system in PBR is unique. Different factors contribute to the scores that riders get. For riders, the most important factor they consider is the time, While many things can influence their score, the timing is king in PBR. Once the bull's shoulders, the bucking chute is open, the timer begins counting, and points are being accorded then on, making the timer an important part of the race. Remember how 8 seconds is the basis for scoring in PBR? It's also used to calculate scores. Once a rider manages to stay on for 8 seconds, they get an overall score from the judges. The scoring is done by considering the fluidity of the rider's movement, how the rider matched the bull's movement, and other shows of skills. Since bulls are also important to the sport, they also get scores. Drops in front, kicks, spins, and directional changes in body while trying to topple the riders are considered when scoring bulls. Bulls have it better than riders. They get scores, whether a rider lasts 8 seconds or not. By adding the bull and rider scores together, a ride score is obtained. The ride score is usually over 100, and getting a ride score of 90 or higher is deemed extraordinary. Although this is not a factor, it is the ultimate goal in every event, which is winning. To win a PBR competition, there's only one rule: be ranked the highest. There are different scoring patterns for different places in the world, but in the end, the addition of all ride scores of a rider after the number of agreed rounds is how the winner is chosen. So what are the actions of riders that could lead to penalties? Bull riding also has penalties, with each having varying results on the score or validity of a ride. Riders are allowed to hold on to their bulls using something called a flank strap. While riders have the freedom to choose which hand to strap to the bull, they're not allowed to use the other hand to touch the bull. The touch, called a slap, is a way to disqualify a ride in PBR. Why is it so bad? Well, apart from it leading to a disqualification, it also cancels out any point a rider may have gotten up to that point. Should a rider delay in the chute for whatever reasons that are solely the rider's fault, such as not asking that the chute be opened, he may be fined, disqualified, or even suspended. I mentioned before that bulls are the most important part of PBR, and even the rules agree. Should a judge decide that a rider has mistreated his ride in any way, the judge has the capacity to disqualify the rider irrespective of time or the ride ongoing. So to ensure the bull from being mistreated because of fear of injury, what are the protective gadgets a rider must have? To ensure the safety of every rider in the rodeo, there are unique pieces of equipment that every rider must have before starting a race. The number one most important piece of gear is the helmet. A helmet is needed by the rider to protect their skull should a wreck occur. Since wrecks are common and inevitable in a rider's career, they are required to have a helmet on before starting a ride. After a helmet, flank straps are the next important factor. Holding on to a bucking bull is virtually impossible. They don't have the sleek bodies of horses, nor do they have anything to hold on to other than their horns, which is outlawed by PBR law. Therefore, a strap is put in place to make it easier for them to stay on the bull. Also, riders are required to wear gloves when riding. While it may not be useful, gloves play a vital role in keeping the rider safe. Have you ever tried pulling something heavy using a rope without wearing a glove or putting on a piece of clothing on your hand? How did it turn out? Now imagine being thrown around by a violent bull whose only goal is to make sure you fall off, and the only way to prevent that is by sitting. Pretty hardcore, right? That's why gloves are just as important as boots. Bells are added to the equipment needed for rides. Though the bells serve no specific role in rides, they are useful for after. By working as a weight, the bell pulls at the flank strap, allowing it to fall off the bull when the ride is over. The next piece of gear is spurs. Spurs are also used when riding. They are attached to the soles of the rider's boots and are used by the rider to catch onto the underside of the bull, thereby increasing the time they spend on the bull. While the PBR has committees that determine the validity of spurs used by riders, riders are advised to use dull-edged spurs. The reason is that since spurs are made to hook the bull's side, the sharp one would be like attaching tiny knives to the side of the bull. As with every other sport, there are rules and regulations guarding the PBR. These keep its validity as a recognized sport. Being one of the most popular rodeo sports that exists today, it takes no genius to guess why the sport is loved so much. It's deadly, it takes wits and courage, and it is absolutely terrifying. But PBR riders are professionals, and all they ask of you and me is to sit back, cheer loudly, and watch them entertain us while they work through the rules of public bull riding. Share in the comment section why you love bull riding. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to Bull Rider Report for the best of PBR. See you in the next video.